Okay. All right. I am back. All right. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Dr. Stephanie. I am your double board certified critical care physician, and I work with physicians who are struggling with their jobs, burnt out with their careers, and who just want some career advice through my books, webinars, coaching, and speaking. I help physicians discover alternative jobs and careers in medicine so that they can practice medicine on their own terms. Welcome to this Friday's edition of Let's Talk Tuesday. And the reason why it's on Friday is because I have a very special guest, Dr. Sakia Antoine. And she is going to talk to us about her experiences doing locums. So join me and let's give a warm welcome to Dr. Sakia.
Hi, everybody. Hi,
So
everybody.
before we get started, are you guys hearing any feedback? Are you hearing any feedback, Dr. Sakia?
No, I'm not.
It's okay? Because I hear
Mm-hmm.
feedback and my microphone is driving me crazy.
Mm.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, Dr. Holden. How are you? So let me just introduce our very special guest. So Dr. Sakia Antoine is a board certified family medicine physician who graduated from her residency program in 2017. And she has been doing locums ever since. And she has been doing locums with Floyd Lee Locums. And she wanted to come on this evening and share with you her experiences with Floyd Lee Locums. So we're going to let Dr. Antoine get started. And she's going to start off with starting to tell us about herself.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. And I just want to start out by saying thank you, Dr. Stephanie, for having me as a guest tonight. I'm really excited. This is my first Facebook Live interview, so I'm super hyped. So yeah, hi everybody. So I'm Dr. Zakia Antoine, board certified in family medicine, and I knew like pretty early on, I really wanted to do locums. I actually really started looking for locums jobs as a resident. Part of it was just from, I think, past experiences I had like in training. And I knew that being like a traditional physician didn't really fit me because I wanted to have like different experiences. I knew I wanted to start a business. I know actually of my whole background, I kind of like took some time off between my internship year and actually completing residency. And I actually even contemplated going back to residency altogether. I almost didn't do it. And it was because I wanted to start a business. And, I was kind of torn between, being that traditional physician, having that 9 to 5 and taking care of your patients. And then, kind of dancing to the beat of my own drum. So lo and behold, I finished residency, and in that whole situation with my residency, I was just kind of blessed. I knew somebody that knew somebody. That situation fell in my lap, so I just did it. And I'm finishing residency. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do locums. And so, okay, two things happened. Like right when I was finishing residency, because I finished that kind of off schedule, my program director, he, like gave me an in with a friend of his. And that's kind of how I did like part-time locums for a minute with this local company in Detroit, Michigan. And then I was going to do locums with the VA. That's actually, what I was going to do. And I was like, I had done the physical. I did everything. There's a whole bunch of hoops you have to do, to be able to do locums with the VA. And at the last minute, it didn't work out. The VA's system is very fickle. It wastes a lot of your time. and you don't get compensated at all for it. So I knew, I'm like, I'm never doing this again. And so I actually wound up taking my first job with a company that had been courting me while I was in residency. And while I was in that job in Lansing, Michigan, that's how I first found out about Floyd Lee, because they were advertising jobs, I think, through your site, Dr. Stephanie.
Okay, yes.
And I was like, oh, this is awesome. This sounds like, a good opportunity. This is what I'm doing now. And it's actually in the same area where I am. So maybe I can get some extra shifts, because I was really just ambitious trying to make money, because I hadn't been working for several months because of that whole situation with the VA. I'm like, oh, I need to work. I need to, make up some of this money I've missed. So, we didn't work together right away, actually. The first, I think, recruiter I talked with, his name is Zach. He actually called me and he was like, well, Dr. Antoine, we really want to work with you. You sound like you're a great doctor. You sound like you're ready to, work in the locums, industry. And that's what we like. So we want to help you find the job of your dreams, the job that will fit, what you're trying to do, and you get the pay that you want. So they took all these things down about me, what I was looking for, what was my certifications, where was I working now? Was I board certified? We got all that. I filled out an application and everything. And so we kind of like talked back and forth for several months, and the right opportunity presented itself. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I started working with them. It was like at least 4 months in the making, at least 4 months.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Right. So you said that you decided to do locums because you did not want to be the traditional physician, the traditional 9 to 5, and you wanted to have opportunities to explore other career options.
Yes, absolutely. The flexibility of the schedule, because if I had something going on, I could simply work that out, and have that day off, because I was working in urgent care at that time. But I was looking for jobs that had that flexibility as far as a work schedule, because I knew at some point I would be trying to work on my business, and then also looking for increased rate of pay, because lots of these locum jobs actually offer more money than I would make if I signed a contract with the hospital directly or the health group directly, because they really need someone. So you might get like an emergency rate or something like that. So that's what kind of like just struck, like, hey, this is something I can do. And then like if my business, takes off, or I want to run my business full time, then I don't have this long-term commitment to another company or group. And then also I don't have to explain what I'm doing when I'm not working for them, because I have no long-term obligation. Because I know some of my friends are having trouble that are actually, business owners. They're having trouble with intellectual property clauses in their contracts. So that was a concern for me as well. So, yeah.
Dr. Zakia, what specifically made you choose Floyd Lee Locums to work with?
I think, what initially struck me is how motivated they were to get me the highest paying job as possible, and working with me to meet those goals. And they even made suggestions on where I should get licensed, based on what they knew about. Well, we know some doctors making a lot of money in this particular state. If you were to get licensed here, we can probably work on getting you one of those jobs. But you have to be ready to move, And so that was one thing that for sure, that was, I think, imperative. If you want to do locums and you are really having that aspiration to make more money than you're making, being able to move, or willing to move rather, has to be something that is on your, agenda. You have to be at least willing to consider it, And so, Am I going away from the question? What was the question?
No. I asked what made you work with Floyd Lee, and it sounds like you chose them because they really listened to what you were trying to do and led you to the right assignments that lined up with your goals.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. They were like, whatever we can do to make you comfortable in taking this assignment and getting the things that are important on your checklist. And for me, it was high pay. And they were like, well, how much do you want to make? And so for me to see them make that happen, that made me motivated to want to give them a shot, because no other company was trying to do that. I actually had other instances where they were trying to make money off of me, and not try to make sure I get paid what I'm supposed to be paid, as someone who went to med school and, has all these certifications and passed all these exams, and I was kind of disturbed, I guess, on the other end to see some of these companies like, profiting as much as I'm making, when I go to work, based on like, they'll advertise like a rate that's basically half of what they're being paid. And, they pocket the other half.
Right.
So,
and then they feel bad for asking for more money.
Right. And so, Floyd Lee was the first company that was just like, hey, we're full disclosure, if you want to make this amount of money, we can make this happen. We want you to make that amount of money, which was new for me. That was a new experience as a brand new doctor, that's out in practice. So it made me really excited to see if we could get a placement and I could make it happen. So, I was really excited.
That's great. So you also mentioned, my next question was going to be, how is Floyd Lee Locums different? And you kind of alluded to the fact that they wanted to join you with the right assignment. They wanted to make sure that you got your needs met and that they were open with the whole process.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
Awesome. So what is the one thing you like most about doing locums?
I would say the one thing that I do like the most about it is the flexibility, because my first assignment, that was not with Floyd Lee Locums, by the way. It was not a desirable assignment. By the time it was over, I was ready to go. And, it was no hard feelings. My assignment's up and I'm on to the next place. So that's what I do like about it. Or if you are that person that constantly needs a change of scenery, you can have that with locums. You can, you can sit down and plan out your whole year. Like, well, I want to spend 3 months in the Midwest. I want to spend 3 months on the West Coast, and especially if you have family all over the place or things like for my business, I need to be able to travel. I could try to set up a job in the area where I need to be during that time and, still do both. So that's what I think is the best thing for me, what I would love the most, say I love the most.
So what is the one thing you dislike about locums?
Of course, there's always some cons. It's not always good things. So I think, the one thing I would say is kind of a bummer with locums is, those assignments that are not ideal, you sometimes have to, I guess, you get in situations where you're uncomfortable. You have to have uncomfortable discussions with the facility director, or, especially if you want to end the assignment, because it's a contract, you have to be there for a certain amount of days, and you don't want to misrepresent the company you're working for, because they may want to send somebody else there after you leave. So you don't want to, burn that bridge for them, but you don't want to let them take advantage of you either. You know what I'm saying? And I've not had that happen to me ever, but I've heard horror stories,
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, that's the one thing I kind of like, I'm always kind of like, cautious about. And, but the good thing about Floyd Lee, if they've never sent you there or they don't know for sure, they will caution you, like, let us know, give us a call, they kind of coach you before you go in that situation. So if it is something, they're like, no, we totally have your back. If they're not doing something that they're supposed to do, let us handle it. And then they'll step in and you don't even kind of have to, deal with that part of it. So,
and that right there is huge, because I've been in situations in which jobs have been misrepresented, and then the locums company didn't support me. Now, of course, we're not talking about Floyd Lee Locums, but you have to realize that the locums company has a responsibility with their client, and they also have a responsibility with you. And sometimes those can clash. And it's great when you're working with a company that values you and will support you. And so that's what Floyd Lee Locums does, because every other company doesn't do that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So let's take a couple of minutes and go through the comments here. We've got a lot of people who are watching. So Dr. Holden says, good job, and I hope you're doing well. Dr. Kathleen, hi. Dr. Holden says, Dr. Sakia, you have a great story. Locums gives flexibility, and Floydly is one of the best companies, and that they took the time to get to know you and offer you the right assignment instead of pushing opportunities that you're not interested in. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I would have to agree with all of those. Honestly, there was this other company, which I'm just going to leave their name out because it's not about bashing other companies today, your interview. But, some people, they call from different numbers. I have to block them. I mean, they're relentless. And I've told them straight up, like, I'm not interested in working with your company. You're not offering me enough money. Like, some of these rates were like, shameless, like $85 to $90 an hour. And I'm like, I'm not working for that. It's not in my benefit to do that. And they're like, I never heard of a doctor making more money than that doing what you do. Like, they're insulting almost. Mm-hmm. And it was funny because I actually was talking with Zach, who's my recruiter at Floyd Lee, and he was like, do they not know you went to med school, Dr. Antoine? I'm like, how could they even offer you that? And he said, what I'm really mad about is the doctors that take these jobs, because it makes it hard for me to do my job to place you at the rate I know you deserve. Like, why do people even take these jobs? And I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. So it's you have some unscrupulous locums companies out there. They really do. Floyd Lee's not one of them. So I'm just like, I feel like I'm really blessed to be in a situation so early on in my career as a practicing physician, because a lot of people, they, it's just like, they say finding a job after residency is just like getting married, and you have to kiss a few frogs before you find your prince. So I kind of found my prince early on. I have to kiss that many frogs. I just had like one frog. And it wasn't even a bad frog,
Right, because I've been in the locums game for like over 10 years.
Right.
So if I can help anybody else get to that sweet spot quicker, that's what I'm here to do. Because I've cried, I've shed some tears, I've had some issues and some challenges, but right now I'm in a good place, and I'm so happy Dr. Sakia is at a good place too. And funny thing is, I'm on a locums assignment right now with Floyd Lee Locums, so I'm living my best life. And
that's awesome.
I don't know about you, Dr. Z, but they send me edible arrangements every time I go on a locums assignment. So I have a nice little surprise whenever I get into my hotel room. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
So
yeah, they sent me like some Starbucks cards. They sent me like some Starbucks gift cards to get, and I actually haven't even had an opportunity to use them yet, to go get like some coffee treats or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah.
That is so nice. So let me ask you another question, Dr. Sakia. What do you know now that you wish you would have known when you first started doing locums?
What do I wish that if the things that I know now that I wish I would have known before? I guess I wish I would have known that there are actually companies like Floyd Lee, because then I probably would have, wouldn't have wasted time working with the people that I worked with. But the learning curve is steep, and I'm sure as an experienced physician, Dr. Stephanie, like, when you first started out in practice, there was a lot of things you realized you didn't know, because medicine is like a business.
Right.
So, and there's how to prepare for my finances. That's another thing I wish that I would have known, because, when you work in locums, you have all this 1099 income. So you have to kind of set up things to prepare for your future. And I'm in the process of doing that now. I have a great financial advisor. And so that's one thing I would also recommend for anyone thinking about doing locums, to make sure you plan, your health insurance, life insurance, 401k, anything, you need to do. Because when your tax bill comes at the end of the year, you don't want to be crying. Like, you made all this money, now you have to give it to Uncle Sam,
1 year that happened to me, and I was in tears. I was like, what happened? But the great thing about Fluidly Locums is that it is a concierge locums company, and they have professionals that they can refer you to help you with all of that. So if you
That's
don't have
awesome
a
too.
financial planner or a CPA or an insurance broker, they can put you in touch with those people.
Hmm.
So that's really not an excuse to not do locums, because there are people who can help you.
I agree. And that's one thing I would definitely say now. If someone who was asking me for advice about, like, well, what should I do if I'm thinking about doing locums? Because the first thing they always ask me, like, well, you don't get any benefits. What do you do about your health insurance? But I'm like, you will make enough money to pay for all that. You just have to set it up yourself. And I'm like, you can have someone advise you to do that because you're going to have to do taxes. And I'm like, you're going to want to do other things with the money you have available to you. Because the good thing about having your own business, because the kind of doing locals makes you an entrepreneur, is you have you're able to kind of like manipulate your taxes a little bit to where you're kind of able to do things and then pay the government on the back end. So that's actually a benefit to you. And like experienced tax professionals can help you maximize that, and make some great opportunities for yourself, with either investing or expanding your business. Because I have another business besides my um, medical services. Some of you guys may have seen me on the internet. I like actually have a hair care product, business, and I like to advise people, on like, beauty tips about hair. So that has actually been to my benefit, actually, to be able to do that and work with, my financial advisor, work with my CPA. And I just recently got hooked up with a great bookkeeper. And so we're trying to automate everything so I don't have to have this big headache and hassle at the end of the year when it comes time for tax time. So you want to have your systems in place, and that's why I said that's one thing I wish I had knew before, because I could have started doing some of it before. Because I was so like gung ho of like owning a business and being my own boss. And I mean, that's something that was very easy to do, that I could have done if I just had the right, I guess, person to kind of like instruct me or go in the right direction.
Okay, I'm like, what happened?
I know. I was like, where'd she go? Yeah. So, but yeah. So that is one thing you do need to be aware of, because 1099 income is different from a W-2 income. But
this is like anything else. Once you have the professionals who can help you and guide you through the process, it can be done with very minimal time, energy, and effort. And that's the one thing that I like about Fluidly Locums, is that if you don't have people on the back end to help you, they will put you in touch with people who can help you take care of the business and legal and financial aspects of it. So let's look at
yes,
a couple of
yes,
comments. Dr. Colleen said, that's cool. Dr. Camille says, if I would have known about locums, I would have done it for a couple of years. And Dr. Camille also said, my residency was horrible with teaching us what to do after residency. Absolutely. People don't realize that medicine is a business. And as physicians, we are businesses, regardless of whether we work for ourselves or work for somebody else. And locums just personifies that, and it allows you to maximize the opportunities.
yes. And I mean, it's not in your residency's interest to teach you by doing locums, because I mean, they're run, in conjunction with like a hospital system. So they want you to take a job with a hospital or something. It's like the med school form. You go from college to med school to residency to some health group or hospital job, like you're working for the man. No one wants you to get a brain and be like, you know how much money my license can generate? I don't need to work for somebody. I can have, strategic partnerships and take home more of that money myself, instead of sitting here letting it run through like three persons' hands and then getting 10 to 15% of what I generate, but some people don't think of it like that. More, well, I'm not going to say more, but some people are more comfortable being an employee, and nothing's wrong with it. I'm not, judging people, for that, but, it didn't work for me. It wasn't like something that I thought I saw myself doing, It made me feel just depressed, because I had so much, so much turmoil and just like drama. I'm going to have to like do a whole nother Facebook Live because like, Lord knows I don't look like what I've been through in med school and residency. But, all the stuff that I went through, I'm just like, man, like, this is not what I signed up for. Like when I was a little 8-year-old girl dreaming of being a physician and like changing lives, and this is like my childhood dream becoming true now. And I was just like, man, this is not fun. I was like very jaded. I felt like I had a chip on my shoulder. And like now that I have this like opportunity with the locums company, I'm able to like do all the other things I want to do. I've freed up time. And then I make more money, so I'm able to do other things. Like now I'm living the dream that I pictured as a little girl. This is the dream I envision. And the job is different, It is in the prison system, but I went in there with like an open mind. And I mean, they the people that work there, like the administrative doctors that, run, like the chief medical officer and the chief physician and surgeon, they are really like supportive. They, we're like, is there anything we can do to make you more comfortable here? We really needed you. We are very glad that you're here. And, I never had that reception at a job before, even, any point in my training. So I just felt like part of the team. I could tell they wanted me to stay. And that's another plus as well. Like, so it just kind of like worked out on both sides. So I'm like, yes,
yeah, that's awesome.
Me. So I'm winning. This is what winning looks like, guys. If you,
it is.
Find the right match in a locums job, or
so
with
the company places you today at this hospital where I'm doing locums, I'm on a Floyd Lee locums assignment, and these are the nicest people ever. So I met the hospital president. He was in the ICU, and he was like, "Oh, Dr. Freeman, thank you so much for being here. We are so grateful that you chose to come work with us." And then he was like, "You're going to come back, right?" And I'm looking at him like, what? I've never had a hospital president tell me that they were appreciative of me being in their facility. And that's the experience you get with Floyd Lee Locums, because they put you with good people who value you and appreciate the service that you provide. But he was funny because he was like, "Oh, Dr. Freeman, you should come and just join us." And I started laughing. I'm like, I'm unemployable. And he just laughed at me. But I'm like, I can't do it. I'm locums forever.
Yeah, they've tried that at my job too. And I'm like, to them, I don't think it really matters because they have lots of people that are not just physicians that are like, they call locums guys or docs. They're registry employees because it's through a vendor that places the independent contractors, and so all the registry employees, they have a separate sign-in, and most of them are like people who work some kind of way in the health system, either like social workers, MAs, LPNs, or something to that effect, and so psychiatrists or psychologists. And so they are always have people coming and going. So I to them, they're like, well, what do we need to do to get you to stay here? And so if it meant let me be registry, they were okay for that, So, it worked out for me. It worked out. I honestly think that, another thing that had a lot to do with it is I know they like talked me up to the vendor. Like, this is a great physician. You guys are getting a really, they had like my CV. They kind of like made talking points because they were like, we made them like we talked you up like you were so awesome, so amazing. So like when you get there, the expectation is kind of high. So they're like, don't let us down because we made it seem like they're getting like an A1 doc, and I guess, reputation they want to have as a company. Like, we want to be known as having the best doctors so we can get you guys these rates. You go there and don't live up to the expectation we've already laid out for you, then, that makes us look bad. So, I, got that, tried to get there on time every day, want to put my best foot forward, trying to get along and impress the chief medical officer, that type of thing. And so, whatever I did, it worked. But I know the first day I was there, they kind of rolled out the red carpet. The guy who went there to meet me, he was like, "Oh, I'm here to meet you. I'm not even supposed to be interacting with you," because he works for the state, recruiting people to come and become civil service employees. And he was like, "But they didn't want anything to be messed up because you were so highly recruited. They're like, you need to make sure you're at the gate because she has to get in here. If she does not get in her first day in here, she may not come back." So, because
Right.
I guess that's happened before, I'm like, "You guys want me to work in? I can't even get in. Like, what's going on?" So they had all the stuff there. It's been a good experience. So I know. So I was just really surprised at how well we worked together with even getting the job. Because let me tell you, Dr. Stephanie, this is not the typical situation for getting a locums position. Like, basically, I got a call one day from Zach. He's like, "Hey, the job opened," because these jobs are highly sought after because of the pay. He's like, "Hey, it's open. We have everything. Do you want me to submit it?" I'm like, "Yeah." And so we actually did that 1 or 2 times before, and we were too late to get the job. So this is third time's the charm. I was the first one to apply, so I got the consideration, and then I had to go through these battery of I'm not going to say tests because it wasn't really a test, but I had to do a phone interview. They're like, do you have a car? Are you willing to drive? Are you willing to do X, Y, and Z? I had to submit all the do drug testing, all this stuff. So they coordinated all that for me, and that's how I made it out here. So it's been, I think, pretty much seamless. But I mean, the hardest part was actually being, I guess, prepped to get this job, and I would not have known about it or even how to go about getting a job like this if it was not for Floyd Lee and the recruiters and how
I don't know where they find these jobs.
I don't know
I'm telling
either.
you,
This
job right here that I'm on right now, listen, best job ever.
Yeah, if they know you're willing to do what it takes, they're like, "Look, we're going to place you. Just be ready. Because when that call comes,
right,
let's get it. Let's get it."
Exactly. But they do, just want to reiterate something. So they do make the process as pain-free as possible. Now that means you have to have your ducks in a row too. But having your paperwork, being responsive to them, having a short turnaround time to their request. But they have credentialing experts who will push everything through and make it such a pleasant process.
Yes. Let's see. I think Dr. Kalani has a question. She's like, "Does Floyd Lee help you find locums jobs internationally?" Do they? That's a good question.
Oh, I don't know if they do or not, but you can always reach out to them to see if they do. Dr. Kathleen said, "I like that line, I'm unemployable." Yes.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Right,
yeah. Little secret, guys. I first came to know Dr. Stephanie in this other Facebook group we're in. I think it's Mocha Medicine. Some of you have heard of Mocha Medicine. And she used to talk about some of her escapades as a locums physician in the group. So I just thought it was really funny. It was always somebody trying to test her or her knowledge or whether she belonged in the ICU because she's an intensivist. So I just thought it was hilarious, But I mean, honestly, I just want to give you a little, I guess, shout out because there's not a lot of physicians that work primarily locums, it's for their income. So not that I know anyway. So I just was real, I guess, inspiring to see you do that. And then this was before you worked for Floyd Lee. And then now I feel like this is a full circle moment because like I met you last year at Dr. Dre's conference, and now here I am, hanging out with you, your interview, and I got a locums job through, your partnership with Floyd Lee. So I just think this is just awesome. Like I'm just like really I guess thankful for you doing what you do, because this is part of what has inspired me to like do what I'm doing, because I wouldn't have like even thought that it was possible, if I didn't see you doing that and living your truth and just being yourself and, comfortable doing or practicing medicine the way that you do. Because I never would have thought that I could do that. I didn't know anyone doing that. And then another thing I wanted to, I guess, add to reiterate that whole point and bring it home, like right before I started doing locums work, a family member and her husband, they were like, do you know any other doctors doing locums? Like, is this what, because they were trying to get me to work for a hospital because my cousin was like a philanthropy director for this really big hospital system out in Detroit, Michigan. I think the Henry Ford system. And so she was like, I can make a call. I can, there's a job here. You can go. They wanted me to take a job. And I'm like, no, I want to do locums. I have this whole plan. And they were looking at me like I was crazy. Like, why you want to do that? Like, no one does that. Everybody gets a job, like they're going to look at your CV and be like, oh, you're only working here. You haven't had a lot of work experience, and then you're not going to be able to get jobs. And so I just think it's funny, now here I am, it's like a mindset thing. And some people are scared to do things a little differently. But that's what I would want to say to anyone watching. If you're thinking about doing locums, do not be scared. There's lots of opportunities out there. Yeah. And you don't have to think that you have to be like everybody else. Dr. Stephanie's been doing it for 10 years. You can see that. I knew her before she even had this Facebook group. Well, I didn't know her personally, but I knew of her. I saw her doing what she was doing. And I've been doing it for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. So don't be scared.
Yeah, don't be scared. Right. So let's see here. Hello, Dr. Kristen. Dr. Colleen says, I like that line. I'm unemployable. And let me see. Dr. Kristen says, is it difficult to find a reputable company to assist with finding locums jobs? No, because we're talking about one. It's Floyd Lee Locums. I will give you the information at the end of this broadcast. Contact them now. Right now. And Dr. Colleen says, how do we see what opportunities are available through your partnership? You can join my Facebook group. And so just send me a message and I'll add you to the group. So 2 more questions, Dr. Sakia. How does locums fit into your lifestyle? And what advice can you give other physicians considering doing locums?
I think I kind of answered those indirectly already, but it fits into my lifestyle great because like I just told you guys, I'm definitely unemployable, just like Dr. Stephanie, because my main objective is like advancing the business that I just launched on Black Friday of last year, which, I'm in the hair care industry. So that's what I see myself doing. Like 2 years from now, I don't really even see myself, maybe having to do locums as much because, I'm trying to advance that. But it fits into my life because it gives me the time freedom because my schedule at this job, this is the best thing. Like I get full-time pay, and I only work Monday through Thursday, 4 10-hour shifts. And it actually gave me the autonomy to choose my schedule before I even submitted, when I was coming and when I was going to start. You can work 5 8-hour shifts and just be off on Saturday, Sunday, because you're never going to work weekends, or you can work 4 10-hour shifts, And so the 4 10-hour shifts works for me because I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they're flexible. Now that I'm in the system and they know my work ethic and they know sometimes I have things going on, they'll be like, well, Dr. Antoine, if you want to have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off, that's fine, and then you can work Tuesday through Friday. So lots of times if I have like an event I have to go to and I, need to travel, I'll have that Friday off and I won't come back till Monday. And then when I get back, I work Tuesday through Friday because I know I have the following Saturday, Sunday off. So that works great for me. I'm able to do things for my business on the weekend or go take care of my family or just take a quick vacation. Because I'm out here in California, right? I can go to LA and hang out for the weekend, go to Vegas or whatever. Like you said, living my best life. I can do all of that and still do my business, and as long as my job is done at my locums assignment, they are not checking for me or trying to give me grief or like, well, where you was last weekend, like, are you going to be doing this full time? They don't care. I'm there to do what they're paying me to do, and I don't cause problems while I'm there doing it. Now, what would I tell other people who are considering locums? That was the second part of the question, right?
Yes.
Like, don't be afraid to do it. It is different. You're not a traditional doctor yet, so don't be afraid. Have a plan of what to do with your 1099 income. We've talked about that. We hit on that a little bit. Just if you really want to maximize your profits, be flexible, to travel, or think outside the box or practice somewhere where you wouldn't normally practice. Because if you would have told me 2 years ago I'd be working in a prison, I'd have been like, get out of here. Like, no, not me. But now I actually like my job. I really like working it. It's sometimes a little annoying, but most of the time it is a good place to work. I work with a lot of good people. They're trained well. I've never felt unsafe at this assignment. And lots of healthcare professionals that work there even tell me they feel safer in that prison than they do working in the ER, because they've seen people get attacked by patients in the ER that were high or had weapons and they didn't even know. And they don't have any of that, in the prison. So, just be open to new opportunities. So yeah, I think those are the main things, so don't be afraid, be open, be flexible, have a plan of what to do with your 1099 income.
That is excellent advice. And we could do a whole Facebook Live on those talking points right there. But I really thank you, Dr. Sakia Antoine, for joining us. I am so grateful to you and Floyd Lee Locums. Thank you, everybody who joined us tonight. And for the information on how to contact Floyd Lee Locums, look at this right here. It is, it should show up right now. There it is. Contact Floyd Lee Locums today at www.floydleelocums.com. I'm Dr. Stephanie. We will talk soon. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Bye.